All the friends that I know of knew that Farm Rescue was coming, and when they saw the trucks, they just started shouting and hollering and waving, and everybody becomes close friends, you know, anybody that's willing to help anybody out. We just had a lot of amazing friends ourselves with help and letting us live in a house that already has a ramp on it for a while. And a friend of mine, a very good friend, lost her husband last year to ALS, and she's letting us use the van that has the lift in it right now. So that, you know, we've been very lucky, and just Farm Rescue was the icing on the cake to come in and help with the crops. And he tends to worry about everything, so it's kind of nice to lighten his load a little bit. And now it's not relying just on these two guys. And so
I'm currently a college student at Dickinson State University. I'm going for a degree in composite social science with emphasis on criminal justice. And I usually try to come home for a couple weeks to a month, try to help out during the summers, and got to go back to school in about a week and a half. So
I work up in North Dakota in the oil field. I live up in Williston, and I usually come back here and help out on days off. And I was back, and like he said, we were working on that baler, and accident happened.
I was going to go bale, and the boys are with me, and I said, well, when I went to bale, they come into the house, and I jumped in the baler, and I thought of one more thing I needed to do. So I jumped out, and you know, that momentary lapse of
judgment.
Yeah, judgment or whatever. I locked the gate up, but I didn't think about the bale kicker, and the bale kicker shorted, and when it came out, I was kneeling behind the baler, and it pinned my legs to the ground, and basically, yeah, had me pinned for a while until it broke my legs, and that kicked me away. Was able to get the bale, that freed me anyway, so I was able to crawl out from behind it. And I don't know how long I was there, but my brother-in-law was spraying, and he come in the yard to refill, and I was able to flag him, and he come and got me. And then they airlifted me to Rapid, and that's kind of what happened, I guess.
It was a pretty bad injury. His right leg is the worst, and he totally broke the femur and then the bones in the bottom of his leg, so he's got 2 rods put in. This left leg wasn't as severe, but he did break a bone down on the bottom, so he's wearing the boot right now. Both ankles, no bones were broken, but all the ligaments were torn, so they're all pinned and screwed. And he's going to have rehab and kind of learn to walk again as soon as he can start putting some weight on his legs. So it was a pretty serious accident. He kind of pushes the cards sometimes, but luckily it turned out great, and I just can't thank Farm Rescue enough and all the businesses that sponsored them, and it's just amazing that people are willing to help us out like this. It really makes you humble.
I think the volunteers are very wonderful people. They donate their time, and they're very conscientious about trying to do a great job here, you know, really worried about doing the best job they can do. And no, it's just been really nice to meet them, you know. And it kind of nice, he grew up out in this area too, or Jeff did, and so it's kind of nice to meet him.
I just think they're amazing that they donate their time and they came out to help us, and it's been nice to get to know them as people, and a lot of similarities, and him growing up in Hardin County and us here. There's a rivalry with sports teams, which is kind of fun to talk about, but they're just wonderful people, and it's so amazing that they came and volunteered their time to help us.
Times like this, when you go through these kind of things, you really see how great people really are. And you know, everybody that volunteers with Farm Rescue, it's pretty amazing to see them giving up their free time to come help people out here, and it's really awesome what they do.
The equipment is, you know, top notch, great shape, you know, I mean, looks brand new. I mean, yeah, that's the state of the art, you know, farm equipment that they brought in here, you know. I mean, that's always important too. When you know, if you have custom cutters come in and you're paying for them, well, you want them to have the best equipment. They don't break down, you know. You want them, and that's what they showed up with here, you know. So yeah, it's very nice.
So a big thank you to RDO for the equipment and for helping Farm Rescue, and to Farm Rescue for helping us.
it'd take a while to count the number of different sponsors on there, that, anywhere from big companies to local, to what I would consider more statewide, from, this a wide range of sponsors it looks like. That's pretty good.
I don't think farm rescue would be possible if it wasn't for everyone that sponsored donations and, the businesses that are able to support farm rescue. We are just so appreciative all the way around, and we know that something like that doesn't work without people, without businesses, without companies sponsoring. So we thank them all very much for that.
A lot of people saw your trucks roll through town and asked, and they're finding out what you're doing here, and they think it's they really think it's a good thing. So it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to accept help. It's a real hard thing to do. When I initially contacted Farm Rescue, I was still thinking, we can do it ourselves, we get behind, but Farm Rescue made it very easy to follow through because they persisted and they kept calling and saying we'd love to come. One thing that helped me was they make sure I knew that me getting help is not going to keep any help going to anybody else, and that was encouraging, because you always worry about, do we really need it? Do we deserve it? And, I guess they really took that concern away and made it easy to follow through, because I was very apprehensive about accepting help for this, but it turned out very nice. So
I helped him fill out the paperwork. It was really simple. We were able to print it out, fill it out, and fax it back in. And it has just relieved the stress on this guy a lot. It's very hard for him, though, to ask for help. And I've really got to thank his friend Brad Austin, who mentioned Farm Rescue, because we had never heard about it. And now I'm going to be singing its praises and letting everyone know how wonderful it was. So it really helped us in a time of need, and we are grateful. And someday these guys are hoping maybe they can volunteer time to Farm Rescue and work on that nice new equipment. It's just wonderful to have the help, and we so appreciate it.